Alright, so you guys have learned a ton of great content over these past few days from experts in their respective spaces. And it's been absolutely phenomenal being here, sitting here in these seats. And I feel that this is important because what you've learned for some of you will mean nothing. You'll actually go home and everything will be the same. You'll fall back into old habits. You're excited now, but the you now, it's not the you tomorrow that's excited as you are today. Unless you take action, unless you apply what you learn, none of this matters. Unless you really go into what you want to do. What is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to create in your life? And so it is that important that you apply what you learn. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. I'm Andrew Ferebee, founder of KnowledgeForMen.com. I host a podcast. I've done about 300 interviews. I have 3 books on Amazon. I'm a high-performance men's coach, is what I call it. I've coached hundreds of men from all around the world, from Hong Kong, Canada, all around North America, South America, Paris, London, all around the world. And I want to share with you guys my struggle. You see, 3 years ago, none of this me standing here talking, me writing books, me talking to Gary Vaynerchuk, Robert Greene, T. Harv Eker, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, talking with Tony Robbins, all of this in my mind, I could not even fathom. 3 years ago, I'm on the floor. 3 years ago, I'm on the floor here crying. There's a puddle of tears. Literally, you can feel the carpet, and it's soaking wet of tears. I just gone through a serious breakup. I'm in pain. I'm in agony. It feels like there's a sword that someone threw down my throat. I'm in pain. I'm crying. I lost this woman that I love so much. It came out of nowhere for me. And worst of all, when you're with a woman that you really love, life is actually, you don't really see the problems in your life. You don't actually see the things that you are doing because you're happy, because you have this woman. But when you take away the woman, and I'm left naked, and I look at my life, and I'm addicted to video games, I'm addicted to porn, I'm masturbating every day, I'm addicted to alcohol, I'm doing drugs. This is my life? How did this happen? I'm a regular guy. I did everything right. I played the game the way you're supposed to play it. I went to school, I got good grades, I played sports, I was a leader on campus, I did everything that you were supposed to do. How the hell did I end up on the floor, crying, looking at my life? I look like the biggest fucking loser in town. When back in college, I was a popular kid. How does that happen? I'm laying in my bed, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm tossing and turning. I can't even think. I can't even understand what is happening in my life. I hate my job. I'm working 8 to 5, 8 to 8 actually. It was 8 to 5 on the application when that was what they said. I'm really working 8 to 8. I hate my job. I'm stuck because the salary is so good. They've given me these golden shackles. I've got benefits I can't turn down. I've got bills I have to pay. I'm in my bed, and I feel like I'm a prisoner. I feel like I'm a prisoner in my own house. How did this happen? And so I started to think. I started to think really hard about how can I change this situation and turn it into a thing. And that was the moment when I switched from being a victim and I transitioned into being a warrior. I started looking at these problems as gifts, as the lessons that I needed to become a strong, grounded man. That every problem, no matter how hard it was in my life, all the addictions, losing the girl, losing the friends, hating my job, a slave to my employer, was the exact thing that I needed to become a strong, grounded man. And so what did I do? I quit. You can obviously see, if you recognize my t-shirt colors, which company I'm working for, managing that store. This is a real life picture of me when I quit my job. I walked into work, I quit my job, I said, enough is enough! And Actually, they gave me a raise, and I stayed for another week before I came back in again for round 2. And I actually quit. And I walk it out, and there's like a customer, and she's like walking in, and I'm like, "Mary, take a picture." And I'm like, "I just quit." And she's like, "What?" And like, she took a picture, and that's what it looked like. And so she gave my camera and just run off. And for the first time in years, I'm driving down the freeway. I'm going 80, windows down. It's summer, San Diego, 80 miles an hour. Turn on the radio. I had just quit my job. And all of a sudden, AC/DC's on. Thunderstruck. Ow! I was loving life. It was the first time that I had freedom. It was the first time that I was fully alive, living my life. The journey began. I had broken the shackles. I had become free. Actually, quitting my job, not being in a relationship, gave me an opportunity to look at all of my challenges as these amazing opportunities for personal growth. And so how did it start? I started going to every library in San Diego. I don't know if you guys know, but libraries, they sell books for 25 cents, used books. And for some odd reason, they're always personal development books. It's like people, they just donate their books that they didn't work or something. So I go, and I buy all the books in San Diego. I go to all the different libraries, find as many books as I can. Probably just spent like $50, but I got this pile of books, and that's a real life book. You can see all the classics, 7 Habits, Lean Startup, Tony Robbins is somewhere in there. I got all these books that I love. I can see Secrets of a Millionaire line there, Tim Ferriss, you can see the 4-Hour Work Week. And this began the journey. I started traveling all around the world, going to events, doing big events like Tony Robbins, that's me and my early mentor at the time, and I'm going to events just like this, small ones where there's 5 people, I'm doing crazy things in the woods naked, I'm doing things like this, I'm doing big events like Tony Robbins. I am on an adventure, and I loved it. I started a blog, sharing my experience with other people, sharing what I was doing and how much life was coming into me, how happy I was for what I was doing in my life. I started a blog, I started writing, I had over 600,000 unique views in less than 6 months. I launched a podcast because I was young and I ran out of things to write. You can only write for so long. And so I started interviewing other people. Top podcast, #1, and lasted there for quite some time. I was #1 in iTunes doing No Money for Health, Business, and Education. I wrote 3 books. I have the Dating Playbook for Men, for which for like 6 months when I launched it, it was #1 dating audiobook, and still to this day, #2 dating audiobook. The Porn Pandemic, helping guys overcome porn addiction. You can see here, these are all problems in my life that I turned into opportunities. I just overcame a breakup. I had a problem with porn. I didn't know how to bounce back into dating. Each one of these was a major problem in my life that I turned into a gift to impact over how many books have I sold? I sell about 500 books a month, and it's been over a year since I wrote those books. And those books have provided great money. I lead live men's trainings here in San Diego. So I want to share with you guys a few things that I learned on this journey about unleashing that warrior spirit. Because I just shared a story. The story is great. The story is compelling. The story is how I got here on this stage. But I want you to go out and create your hero's journey, create your story. And maybe you're already on it, or maybe this will help you get over one of those humps that you're currently on so that you can continue going on the journey. We first got to understand this. Life is easier today than it was many years ago. Think about this. Hunting, back in the day, you just go to a grocery store. Building houses, there might be one person in here who can actually do that. We buy houses. We don't, soldiers, hand-to-hand combat, we don't do that. We have drones, we have a volunteer army, and not discounting what our military does, but I would say that it's significantly less than what it was like in the past for most military people. We used to walk miles every day. How many people actually walked more than 10 miles to get here? That would be a normal thing years ago. All of us, we drove, we took a train, I flew from, tonight, I'm going to be sleeping in my bed in San Diego. 3,000 miles away. Physical labor, most of what we do is mental labor. Know how to defend ourselves? Most of us don't. Police, we have laws in place, we are protected. And so enter Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This will help us understand why it's difficult to take action, why it's difficult to do the things that you really want to do. Because your brain only will do this, the bottom: breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion. What I mean by that, okay, everything else you have to do. The ball's in your court if you want to do anything great in your life, which is above here and kind of in the safety. But if I tell you to hold your breath right now, I don't have to coach any of you on why you should breathe again. Your body will naturally do it. Your body will naturally start breathing. If you stop eating for a week and I put a Thanksgiving plate of food right there in front of you, I don't have to go into your past. I don't have to ask you questions about how you feel so that you can eat that food. Your brain will just take it all. If we're on a boat taking a picture and you fall over into the water, I don't have to coach you on why you need to get out of the water. There's sharks around. Your brain will instinctively take action because that's survival. Your brain doesn't care about you having a six-pack. Your brain doesn't care about you making 6, 7, or 8 figures. Your brain cares that you have food. Your brain cares that you're warm. So anything that you want to do that is going to be great, your goals, the things that you want to achieve in your life, that's where willpower comes in. That's where you have to come in and be a warrior. So it's not that I can't build a business. It's not that I can't go to the gym. It's that you're fucking human. You're just human. And humans aren't meant to go above and beyond the call of duty. That is something that is a learned behavior to achieve greatness in your life. Moving on. Right now, every single person in this room, write down 3 goals you want to accomplish by the end of this year. It's coming close. We're in August. Everybody do this. This is the Elite Man Conference. Participate. Engage. You drove out here. You came out here. Write down 3 goals that you want to accomplish by the end of this year. For the rest of my entire talk, I want you to stare at your goals. And by the end of this talk, you will have the courage, you will have the willpower, and you will have the ability to take action on what matters most to you. 3 goals, bullet points, no paragraphs. I'm going to continue. I started studying Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Army Special Forces, Spartans, and Samurais. I read all the books, was going through the history, watching the documentaries, really trying to understand what makes these guys elite. What makes them the best of the best? What makes them do things that no other man will do? Going all throughout history and also studying special forces of different countries, and even in the past, as you can see. And then what did I learn? What did I learn? Yell some things out. One word. Just yell. Yell. Courage, discipline. Keep going. Persistence. Willpower. Integrity. I summed it up into this, as I found that they all had this in common. The eager and willing embracing of adversity. They wanted to go into adversity. They want to go into the battle. They want to go where it's hard. That is not what we are like as normal humans. That is different. We all want to be safe, comfortable, stay in our comfort zones. I found this. There's a story of a Spartan. His company of soldiers was not chosen to go to war. The Spartan wrote a note about how sad and how much pain he was in because he did not get to fight. He killed himself leaving that note. He wanted to go where the adversity was, and he was hurt at his core because he did not get to go into the challenge. Think about your goals right now. How many of you are going into the challenge? How many of you are actively waking up and pursuing the challenge, pursuing the difficult thing that is holding you back? There's a wall. How many of you are hitting that wall every day? The eager and willing embracing of adversity. Stop looking for a problem for your life. I know that we don't like to hear this. This is not fun, this is not sexy, but if we can accept and change this idea that problems are bad and view that problems are these opportunities for personal growth, if you want to be an elite man, you're going to have to be able to look at your problems and solve them and face them head on. Want the problem, accept the problem as your own problem. It is a unique problem to you. And the more you have, the stronger that you're going to become. If you aren't having any problems in your life, then you aren't taking much risk in your life. that not much is happening in your life. You are stagnating. You are bored. You are complacent. You are living in your comfort zone. And as Tony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're done. If we look for a problem for life, and we're constantly upset that I can only be happy if this problem didn't happen, if my spouse would do this, if I could lose weight, if I could date this girl, if I could make more money, then I could be happy. But if we could view our problems as the best gifts that the world is trying to give you so that you can have your own hero's journey. Are we all familiar with the hero's journey? Joseph Campbell, hero's journey. He studied all the great stories of the world, studied all these great stories, even if you look at present day, Harry Potter, The Ring, Star Wars, The Matrix, Gladiator, Braveheart, even biblical, even stories about Jesus, even stories about other special people in history, even Alexander the Great, even if you look at the Quran, even if you look at the Bhagavad Gita, there's a theme amongst these stories, and in every theme, one of the things is the pit. Is the dark thing that happened, is that question, it's the challenge. And imagine if your favorite character stopped at the challenge, and he just stood there at the wall, and just stood there, and then that was the story ended. The best stories are the ones where he makes it through the challenge, no matter what he has to do. He overcomes the pit, he climbs himself. Think of Batman, when he's in that pit and he's trying to swim, he's trying to jump out of the hole. He's in the pit, literally. What if he never made it out? And he never got to go out and save Gotham? And that's where most people are. They're in the pit, and instead of trying to get out and they just bitch about the pit, they live in the pit. They actually set up camp in the pit. They actually create a wall, and each brick that they built themselves. No one is holding back. You were the one who built the wall of fear. If we could stop looking for a problem for your life and understand that the wall is the best thing that you need to grow, you can become a warrior. You grow the most where there is the most tension. Is there a conversation that you need to have with your spouse? Is there a conversation you need to have perhaps with your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your boss, your employee? Where is the most tension in your life? And if you go into that tension, you don't even need to know what to say. Hey, I'm feeling a lot of tension. I want to talk to you about something. I don't know what it is. Start the conversation. Maybe it's not even a conversation. Maybe it's because you hate your fucking job. There's a lot of tension there. How's that going to impact the rest of your life? How are you going to be an elite man if you're walking around hating your job? You spend how many hours at work? 8, 10 hours. You're asleep the other 8. You're working, you're traveling, or doing whatever, you're free for the other 8. If you hate your job, then how are you going to really grow? It's going to show up in every aspect of your life. So if there's tension at your job, you either have 2 options. You either get a new job or you need to start a business. What is it that you need to do? Go where the tension is. If you ignore the tension builds. What happens is you slowly lose your warrior. Your warrior will go to sleep. Your warrior will just lay down and fall down here, and he'll stay here. Meanwhile, the world continues, the world goes on, but your warrior is there. And what happens is you become a dreamer. How many people know someone who has a goal, and the next time you see them 3 months later, they're still talking about that goal. 6 months later, they're still talking about that goal. Maybe you even told them what to do, and a year later, they're still in the same place. Say I. Almost everyone. Almost everyone. That's the dreamer. And the dreamer's good. We need a dream. We need to have ambition. We need to have a vision. But if we aren't actually going into that tension and wanting the tension and pushing ourselves where it's hard, we will be in the same place. Burn your boats. And a lot of people will actually say this. They'll be like, burn your boats. And then they'll say with a disclosure, well, that's what worked for me. I don't know about you. But I want to just straight up say, burn your fucking boats. Because when you burn your boats and your back is against the wall, humans, they tend to succeed. When there's no other option but success, there's no other option but forward, you are going to succeed. Now, for those of you who have kids, for those of you who have really these heavy responsibilities, of course you have to be smart about this. Of course, tomorrow you don't quit your job. Of course, tomorrow you'll go out and do that. But at some point in your life, you have to say, enough is enough. You have to own your current state, and you have to burn your boats at some point in the future and make a full commitment, make a decision. Make a decision. Decision, Latin or root meaning to cut off the other options. A decision is not something you fuck around with. A decision is not something like, oh yeah, just do it, yeah, whatever works, spin a wheel, whatever works. A decision is a serious emotional thing that you're gonna make. When a guy is about to propose to his wife, it's not just spin a wheel, oh, it said yes, I'll go marry her. It is a serious emotional thing where you're wrestling with it. You can't sleep at night, you're trying to, yes, I'm gonna do it. It's a big fucking deal. It's a decision. You're cutting off the other options. When we burn our boats, humans tend to succeed. I've seen it with my clients, quitting their jobs and building their businesses. Perhaps it's a breakup. Sometimes the tension is actually in the existing relationship. But in order for those who are married here, you just kind of listen in here, if you didn't do the breakup that you had to do prior to the man or woman that you met, then you would not have met that person that you were now married to. Therefore, burning the boats with that person, likely the best thing to do, and one of the best things that ever happened to you. But we don't see it in the present. In the present, it fucking sucks. In the present, it is hard, it's painful, it's sacrifice, it's war with our one. It's a battle with it. But it's a battle that you two can win. To avoid risk is to be less masculine. When you are avoiding risk in life, you are suppressing your masculinity. The masculine wants to be free. In order to be free, you have to take risks. It's a risk to propose. It's a risk to go talk to that girl. It's a risk to quit your job. It's a risk to start your business. To avoid risk is to be less masculine. And for a man, to avoid risk is to be less alive, to be less engaged with life itself. You are running away from risk. You are running away from life. You are scared of life. I mean, you can't see it. Everyone has their own different variations. Some people, their goal might be to just talk to their boss and get a promotion. Amazing. Some person it could be to hire a key employee and do something risky, to start a new ad campaign, to make a phone call out to someone, to ask for that sale. It's going to be different for all of them. To avoid risk is to be less masculine. If you are running away from risk, you are running away from life. If we can change this idea that risk is scary, and actually it's an opportunity for you to have more freedom, for you to be an elite man, or what I call a strong praying man. To avoid risk is to be less masculine. If I didn't quit my job, I would not be standing here today. If I didn't pursue this whole dating thing that I went on many years ago, I never would have wrote the dating playbook and having gotten hundreds of emails from people all around the world helping them lose their virginity or to get into a relationship and even getting married. Because I took a risk. And so you gotta stop looking at yourself in the mirror and look beyond the mirror and see the thousands of other people who need you to take a risk. Maybe it's not 1,000, maybe it's just your son, maybe it's your daughter, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your spouse. But don't look at yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror. Look at the people who need you to take that risk. Look at the people who need you to come alive. Look at the people who want you to become the strongest version of yourself. There's no one that loves you that does not want to see you grow. There's no one that loves you that will not support you if you take a risk and it doesn't work. You're out there in the arena. You're out there, out of the stands. You burn your chair, burn the spectator stand, and get into the arena of life. Step into the game, take some risk, and your life will never be the same. It takes a risk to go talk to that girl. That girl could be the mother of your children. It takes a risk to start that business. That business can fuel your children's education. It takes a risk to do what most matters to you. Which one are you? Which one are you? If you avoid risk, you put yourself in a cage. A lion in a cage. The most ferocious animal jungle, in a cage. Taking risks, you're free. Taking risks, you're out there in the wild. All kinds of crazy shit can happen to you. Yes, he's safe. Yes, this lion potentially could live longer. But this life is not a life well lived. This life is not a life that you want to live. This is the life in the land of the free, especially where we are in Plymouth. This is where you want to be. This is the place where you can be alive. This is the place where you are your most attractive self as a man, being alive. One of the things I do at my events is I bring a bunch of women and we do exercises. We play games with men and women. One of the things I do with the women is I ask them, what is the one thing that you want in a man? To all the women. The common theme, someone will just straight up say it, but the common theme amongst all the women is they want a man who's fucking alive. Who's out there, who's living his path and purpose, and he's going after what he wants to do, and he's not in a cage. The lion puts himself in a cage and backs in, closes the door, locks it, sits there, waits for the food, goes to sleep, and that's his life. The cage is the cage that you build. The cage is your house. Has anybody seen that movie, The Room? It's a fucked up movie. Nominated for Oscars. It's about the boy. He's trapped in a room because the man raped and kidnapped this woman, and he kept them in a shed, locked. And the boy grew up in the shed. Finally, he escaped the shed, and the movie's all about the boy experiencing life for the first time. It's an incredibly powerful and dark movie. However, the lesson that I took from that, because we're thinking, oh my God, raped, and oh my gosh. But the way that I saw it was that every person here has a room. What is your room? The room that you keep yourself in. The room that prevents you from going out into the wild, into the world, and experiencing everything that you want to experience in this short existence that we have. Which one are you? You might be looking at that like that's just a photo. There's a story of two people who were prisoners of war. They met up after 10 years. The two people sat and they said, hey, how are you doing? He says, no, I forgive them for that. I understand from their point of view why they held us for 10 years. And the other prisoner says, not me, I fucking hate them. I fucking hate those people. Why did they do that? Why did they do this? Why did they give us water? And the other prisoner says, it looks like you're still in prison. Build momentum. It's not that you're going to just leave here and I'm asking you to go work 20 hours a day. Just, warrior, lion, oh my gosh. No. I'm asking you to build momentum. I started by reading books. I started podcasts. I started by writing books. I started by then building online courses. I then started doing coaching. I then started doing live events. I then started by getting an office on the beach. And then I started hiring a team. And even just in this week alone, when I at one point in my journey, I had $14.63. I went to the bank to try and hang out with some friends on the beach, try to withdraw 20, and it said insufficient funds for $20 fucking dollars. To this week, making over $18,000 while I'm here in Boston, sightseeing. It started with momentum. I didn't start that way. I started by buying books. I started by going to events and getting in the game. I got in the game. I started swinging my sword blindly. But I got in the game. I got in the game and I didn't leave. Too many people, I'll talk about this whole industry, but you can look at your own space and it likely applies. They get in, they start swinging, they miss, they get hurt, they get stabbed, they get betrayed, they lose money, then they give up. And they build a wall of excuses to why this industry doesn't work. They might change niches, all of a sudden they're a dating coach, all of a sudden they're a health coach, all of a sudden they're practicing law. It's about momentum. You're not going to succeed, you will fail. But in time, that'll all turn around. Walk in knowing you're going to get hit. When I I started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I probably got tapped out 1,000 times before I started tapping other people out. 1,000 times, getting my ass beat by men who have been training as hard, of breaking your arms and legs and choking you out. 1,000 times before I started getting some wins. 1,000 times, tens of thousands of times before I won my first training. But it started by showing up and getting tapped out. Can you show up and get tapped out? Can you show up and fail? Can you show up and try? Can you show up and do something that really matters to you and impact someone that you care about? Be bold consistently. I want to just explain this idea that I'm not out there every single day taking crazy action. The most boldest person I can think of is Evil Knievel. On my flight over here, I drove across the Grand Canyon. I came from San Diego all the way to Boston. And we actually had to drive across the Grand Canyon. It was perfect. It was 1 o'clock. I could see the whole thing. And I'm like, wow, Evil Knievel jumped that? He jumped the Grand Canyon. But guess what? Considered one of the most boldest, riskiest men, daredevil, if you will. He's only doing that jump for 9 seconds. 9 seconds makes him one of the riskiest men alive. 9 seconds. What did he do after that? He has lunch with his family. He watches a movie. He watches Jeopardy. Not sounding too crazy to me, but for 9 seconds, can you make a bold move that will push your life forward? 9 seconds. That's all it takes, and your life can absolutely change. 9 seconds. You see a girl. What are you going to do? 9 seconds. There's an opportunity. Are you going to take it? 9 seconds. You can propose to a woman. Be bold consistently. And being bold doesn't mean that it's 24 hours a day. Being bold just means a few seconds out of your day, you do something dangerous. You do something risky. In one of my favorite books, I read hundreds of books. I interviewed 300 people. I asked them always what your top 3 books. I'm very aware of best-selling books. My favorite book is called The Joy of Living Dangerously. And in this book by Osho, it's an Indian philosopher, and he says, man only comes alive in danger. Men come truly alive in the risk, in the danger. That's when the masculine, you're feeding it. It's like Mario gets a mushroom, wow, you just grow. You love danger, you love risk, you're masculine breeds it. Why do we love watching UFC? Why do we love watching football? Why do we love sports? Why do we love the sports that are dangerous? Why do we love watching someone give it their all in a ring? Why do we love watching the best of the best in the Olympics right now? The best in the entire world. They're giving it their all. They're going after what they truly believe in. They're taking the risk. Can we be bold consistently, and it only takes 9 seconds? Success is taking action, not achieving a specific outcome. Learning this concept for me comes from the dating, whole freedom from outcome. Common example we can all relate with. If I see a girl that's extremely attractive, I want to go talk to her. In my mind, if I think I'm a success, if I get her phone number, then I'm going to fail. I'm already shooting myself in the head by having a specific outcome of what I need to happen to measure my success as a man. And instead, if I flip the script and say, because I take action and just express myself and just do whatever I can do, given the state that I'm in, given the fact that I've worked 10 hours a day, given the fact that I just had a bad conversation with my wife or girlfriend, or why are you talking about given the fact that you had a tough day, can you go up, can you express yourself, and do the best you can? And when you walk away, give yourself that satisfaction that you did the best you can. That you're a success for taking action, not for getting a specific outcome. And when you do this, you're more free, you're more alive. You don't have this fucking thing that you need to get in order to be a success. You can then do whatever you want. Even in business, when I wrote a book, I just wanted to write a book. I just thought it would be cool if my name was on Amazon. I did not know that I would be selling hundreds of copies a month. I had no idea. When I launched the podcast, I really just wanted to use it as an excuse to meet other people. I did not know that I would have 100,000 downloads a month and millions of downloads till this day, over 3 million downloads on the podcast. I had no idea. I just wanted to talk to interesting people. I didn't have a specific outcome. I better fucking get $100,000 a month. I'm a failure. I better get this book on Amazon. Better sell hundreds. I'm a failure if I don't. Instead, I just did it because I wanted to do it. I just let go of the outcome and do the best work that you can and enjoy the work and try and just change someone's life who's on the other end of that book or listening to the podcast. When I'm not thinking about an outcome, I tend to get better results in life, business, and in relationships. The life you want is on the other side of your fear. You build a wall. This wall here is what's preventing you from breaking through. Everything that you want is on this other side of your fears. That girl that you want to talk to, that business that you want to create, the career that you want to have, the relationships, everything that you want is on the other side of that fear. And if we can now look at fear as something that it's not something that is holding you back, you can't really fail in fear. You just learn something to improve and grow, which is likely better than achieving a specific result. The life you want is on the other side of your fear. Check it. Look at your goals. And I'm just going to ask you this question. What excuse do you have for not achieving those goals and taking action on them? Is there a valid excuse that you have? Like a really good one, or like, no, this is a good excuse, and I can't do it. Pay attention to that. This is not your practice life. You live your 20s, they're gone. You live your 30s, they're gone. You live your 40s, they're gone. Your 50s and 60s, and so on. You don't get to respawn. You're not playing Call of Duty. You don't get another shot. I remember vividly just skateboarding with my friends, and my biggest problem in life was my dad going to buy me that new baseball glove? It wasn't that long ago. And it's not like I'm 12 here. It's, I'm just saying that was a long time ago. But understanding, it's not your practice life. Today is the only day that you're going to live. What does it say? August 6th? Is it August 6th? August 7th, 2016 will never happen again. And it'll never happen again for anyone in the future. This is the only time that August 7th, 2016 will never happen, and you get to be a part of it. What a gift. What a joy. What an experience. If we can look at life here as this opportunity to suck the most out of life in every moment. Just try something adventurous. Explore. Go after the girl, build a business, build a career, have the relationships that you want. In my opinion, I think relationships is everything. Because what is the scariest thing that can happen? What's the scariest thing that can happen to you?
Die.
You can die. And guess what? Everyone's going to die. Everyone will have that moment. And so when we understand that the scariest thing in the world is already happening to you, you're not lucky, nothing. Steve Jobs died at 56, one of the richest men in the world, smartest man in the world. 56. What does that tell you now? We're all going to die. But not only that you don't know when. And so you're not guaranteed a full life. You're not guaranteed to live till 90 or 100. And that everyone in here knows someone who has passed. You've all been to a funeral or have known someone who was lost someone close. It's very real. Very real. It's a harsh reality. It's a harsh truth of life. No matter what happens, your time will come. Yeah, it's fucking, no one likes hearing that. No one likes hearing that. And no matter what, you don't know when that time will come. And so considering that the peak years of your life are between, just from my research, not here to bring anyone down, from my research, between 20 and 60, peak years are when you can go out into the field. And so understanding the first 20 years, you're you're not extremely productive, you're just trying to learn a game, and in your later years, you're more chill. So like here, life is much shorter than we actually think. And so I'm adding this in here not to scare you, but to add a sense of urgency on what you put for your 3 goals. Because now, what excuse do you have? If you had one earlier, what do you really have? What can you tell me why you can't achieve what you want to achieve? What is so important that you can't do what matters most to you? If your goals are number 2 in your list because you don't have the time, you're not ready, well then I would like to know what is your priority if your goals aren't. Now, what excuse is worth more than the life of your dreams? Of all I'm saying here, I hope I'm not scaring people. I hope I'm not telling people they have to go out there and swing their sword every single hour of the day. Of course, the warrior is just one archetype of man, while another being the lover side and being able to enjoy life, enjoy the beauty of life, enjoy women, enjoy being present, enjoy being able to look at the beautiful history and architecture of New England, being able to just enjoy your life and not forget to fully live your life while chasing the life of your dreams. Or as one of my guests on my podcast says, how Elrod, love the life you have while you chase the life of your dreams. These are just some 30-day challenges, not extremely. These are just things that I've done that I find keep you out of your comfort zone. This is a slide that is not going to be a thing. I want to conclude with, I put a flyer in there. You can get my best training on becoming a stronger grounded man to unlock unlimited power in your life below. It's kfmconfidence.com. It's 3 free videos. It's my best stuff. And these videos are like 30, 45 minutes long. It's some of my best work compacted into a short area. So now I've shared with you how to unleash the warrior, how to adopt that spirit, how to go after what matters most to you. So what you decide to do after this event will shape the rest of your life. You have an option. You can apply, or you can immediately put that notebook down when you get home and just fall back into old habits. On your notebook, you wrote some really powerful things down from the other speakers yesterday and then later today that are speaking later. You have an opportunity to absolutely change your life. Everybody can change their life. It doesn't matter if you're too short, you're too tall, you're old, you're gray, you're Indian, you're black, you're Asian, you don't have that IQ. It doesn't matter. Everyone can change their life and go after the life they want and do anything that they would like to do if they can just work hard, if they can be persistent, and they can be patient, and they can surround themselves with the right people in their environment. You can achieve greatness in your life. That's how you can unleash the warrior spirit. Thank you. Thank you. I have that for the Q&A. So, what you got? If you have a question and you're like, I don't want to be the first one, you should ask a question. Go ahead.
I need a question. If you had 2 things to say that all your golden nuggets are just 2 topics, what would be 2 things that you do with those things?
Shut the fuck up and do it. Next question. There were a lot of hands up there. All right, front row, go ahead. Front row, go ahead. I thought I saw your hand.
Yeah, I'm constantly basically battling these inner voices in my head that are just saying the most awful, horrible things to me, and I'm always looking for ways to basically, like, the best things to say back to them, the best way to respond to them. Like, what are some things that you can tell that you say to yourself when you start feeling those senses? sense of doubt, that sense of nervousness,
Got
that
it.
sense of failure.
So the question is for those in the back, what do you do when you start hearing the negative thoughts and these negative thought patterns come into your mind when you really want to do something, correct?
Yeah.
Is this true? What is an example of something that you tell yourself, and what is the thing you're trying to achieve?
Nothing's gonna change. Everything's gonna be the same. You're gonna be the same role. Nothing will happen. You're gonna be stuck.
Yeah, so that is your brain trying to keep you safe and comfortable and complacent. But are those things true? Do you believe that you cannot change? Do you believe that you will not grow, that you can't achieve the thing that you're trying? Do you believe that as truth? Absolutely. So that's where you can start, is questioning yourself. Is this the truth? Is this really the truth? Or is that your brain trying to keep you safe? Because like I showed, at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you're trying to do something great. Your brain does not have your back on that. That's going to come from your own mind, your own willpower to be able to persevere through those negative thought patterns that you have. But the first thing I would do is question, is that true? Because the majority of the time, it's not. And there's always going to be someone who's had it worse off than you, who's gone on and achieved much greater things. Who's had it worse off, who's missing limbs, who is mentally ill or has some sort of, they're not as smart. There's someone out there who's had it worse off than you, who's gone on and done greater things. Great guys to look at would be Sean Stevenson, and then I can't think of a guy who's seen no arms and legs, and he's buried in his incredibly beautiful life, no arms and legs. Did someone say his name? Nick Vujicic. Yeah. I saw some hands in the back.
Yeah. You listed a whole lot of different pursuits at the end of your presentation. If you had to pick just one pursuit to facilitate the maximum analyst change, what do you think?
So are we talking about the 30-day challenges this year? Or are we talking about the statements that
If you had to pick just one, like skill, like to the first focus on, what do you mean? To as an analyst There's so many things working well probably.
So you'd like me to summarize my entire presentation to one or over or two things? Is that what you're saying? Like I just took 300 years and hundreds of bucks and did it in 30 minutes. And now you want me to do it in 1 sentence. Okay.
Yes.
Do you accept the challenge?
I do accept the challenge. And I would say, like everything that I have is going to be pretty cliche, everything that's coming to my mind. But it's that everybody can change. Everybody can change. Like if there's something that you don't like, you can change it. And that for me was the biggest epiphany when I started reading those books. I didn't know that there were people out there who wrote these books that were telling you how you can change your life, and how you can grow, improve, and you can go from being really shitty in business to having a multiple 7, 8, 9-figure business. You can go from being the worst, shyest guy ever to having to go out and be able to date multiple women and get a woman of your dreams. I didn't know that that was possible. I thought that the cards that I had been dealt were the cards that I am going to live with, and I am stuck inside this cage, and I'm just going to live my life. But you can change, and that's something amazing. That's human. You can change your life. You can change things. Everything was all built by someone who's really Steve Jobs, not smarter than you. Everything around you. You're in this game too. This is the best thing ever. This is the best time to be alive. When else would you want to be alive? I once what book was it? I can't think. But someone who's lower middle class today is living a much better and richer life than the richest monarch just 100 years ago. The richest monarch in the world. And we're here. Of all the times you could have been alive, you could have been alive during the 1800s. You could get on Tinder. Snap. I mean, what kind of world would that be? There's just so much that we can do. We live in such a great time. It's amazing. And so, take advantage of that, because you're here. You made it.
Maybe a bit less of an impactful question, but I'm very curious how after you quit your job, because I definitely want to be involved more in the communities and to learn more and to meet places. I know that money is a factor in that. How did you, after you quit your job, maintain the ability to attend and to participate in the park?
Let me ask you, what would you do if you quit your job and you wanted to go on an adventure and travel? How would you pay for it?
I would just bum off everybody I knew.
That was one that I did. What would be another one? Get another job. I didn't do that, but I did get into a lot of debt. And I'm not advising that this is a strategy for everyone, but that's just what I did. I just went out and got credit cards, and I thought it was so dumb. I would just sign up and they'll give you like 5 credit cards. And I just went on a journey and just paid for everything, credit, just coaching, reading books, which are very cheap, but the events were expensive, and mostly what we were worried about is the travel expenses that it takes. But here's something that what you can do, something that I learned, is that people want to help people who are on the path. People want to help people who are in motion. Like, people love helping someone who's like moving, not someone who's a dreamer and would like to do something, but someone who's actually like in the arena swinging and getting stabbed. And so a lot of people help me. A lot of people let me stay at their place. A lot of people actually paid for my airline tickets. When I was going to events, let's say an event like this, what I would do if I was back where I was, I would have contacted Justin and I would have said, hey, I'll work that desk right there. I'll help your video guys. I'll pick up trash. I'll be the greeter at the front. I'll be the liaison. I'll be the logistics guy. I'll be your main contact. I'll call everyone, make sure they're coming, make sure all their questions are asked. Let me take their event for free. Because that's what I did for probably more than 50% of the events I did. Is I was just a hungry guy who wanted to help, learn, and be in the community. And people want to help people who are hurting, is what I learned. The same goes for many mentors too. There's just always a way. There's always a way. And I don't take no for an answer. I have been trying to get $20 on my podcast since I started, and I recently just booked him. Two years of trying to email him, call him, talk to everyone I can, do all these Twitter things, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. And here I am, this regular ass dude who's gonna sit down with that guy, make it happen, like fire fucking way.
First of all, it's really great talk. That was awesome. Very inspiring. I was wondering, so obviously as entrepreneurs and as we do all this stuff, go, and hustle and work for so many hours. I was wondering for you in your life, if you had a habit or a morning routine or something for you that keeps momentum going after months and months and months.
Got it. So how do you stay sitting here, thinking you're doing it too long? Perfect. And honestly, when I first started, I wasn't good at it. And it actually led to a crash. And so the habits that I have now, absolutely morning routine, being grateful in the morning, literally just read how Laura's book, The Miracle Morning. She just goes through this morning routine of what you do. Plus, weekends I just spend, and I try not to work at all, and I just schedule out having fun with friends for the entire week. So Monday through Friday, I'm in the arena. Saturday, Sunday, I'm just chilling in the stands with a bunch of friends, enjoying San Diego. But it has to be scheduled, and I have to be willing to use the power of no to opportunities, kind of like this one. So it is a weekend. Really being able to, I like this stuff. This is my thing. But really being able to say no to opportunities that are going to drain me. And another thing too is when, like, I'm really passionate about this work, and it doesn't really drain from me. It is adding to me when I wake up. Like, I love Monday morning, and I love having an empty calendar. Meaning I'm not going to not work. It means I get to be creative and do anything I want. And I love just 12 hours of just open play with my work. So a couple of things there was morning routine, really using the power of having a schedule around like when you're going to go out with my girlfriend or with my friends, and loving my work, which makes it easy to go into work. Because I open the door of my office and I'm happy, I'm excited. I can't wait to get in and do what I want to do. Great question though, because that is a danger of the warrior. It's just overworking yourself and neglecting your lover because you don't yet have the result you want. So you punish your lover and say, I can't go out on weekends because I have not made the money or the job or the success that I want. And I find that to be very common. Or with my clients actually here in the New England and New York area, the Wall Street guys. Make the last question the most vulnerable question ever. You have a question? All right, go ahead.
What are you going to ask on
Well, this is like one of my favorite topics of what I just talked about because it's helped me so much in my life. So I definitely want to get more of his ideas on that. But I'm interested in kind of where he wants to go because he's getting older and at his events he's not even there for all of them. Unless you go to his main events like David Destiny and stuff like that. But I want to know where he thinks this industry is going. I want to know where he's going to go and who's going to replace this $500 million industry or $500 million company. But me and you want to talk about this stuff here. And I just have a man crush on him, so it should be fun. All right, thank you guys so much.